Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to a day of in-betweens. Yesterday was a video of I was lost, and I'm more lost today. I'm most looking forward to tomorrow, it being Wheeling Wednesday, and we allow the wheels of fate to pick it for us. So today, all that there was for me to do was try to clean up the horrendous messes that I've made during the whole Christmas festival of. And as I was cleaning, moving things about, picking up all the dropped fasteners off the floor, I stumbled upon, we'll get him over here. I stumbled upon this guy, and I couldn't remember exactly why I don't like my laser nut as much as I don't. And then when I was working on it, and the amount of work required to get it out here and onto the ground, it was kind of refreshed in my mind. I got him on the ground on the included tires and remembered, unlike when Scion came out with the FRS, which is now the Toyota GT86, much was said about how a lot of the spirit of that vehicle was retained in the fact that they effectively put Prius tires on it. So the fact that the car didn't have that much horsepower, it didn't matter, because you could throw it around and get dumb and get sideways and whatnot, because the tires just didn't grip very much. Well, the tires that come on the laser nut, I think they say Super Swamper on the side. I don't like them for anything. I don't like them at all. Like, they're too soft and too hard at the same time. They don't fold over when they should. For a go fast tire, I don't know what they are. And also the plastic wheels have a hex insert depth of about 3 millimeters. If you've never seen a laser nut with the wheel off, the hex insert for the wheel is microscopic. And that means that the hex insert in the plastic wheel itself is about 3 millimeters deep. So when you put, this is 3S. So this is 3S. And when you put 4S into it, there's a good chance you're just going to blow the whole thing to smithereens, because there's no way that wheel hex can handle that amount of power. In the non-crawler world, we've all stripped hexes out before. And these hexes, well, not these, the hexes that come with the vehicle are just asking for it. So I have the wheel set that was set up for the Rift before he got his graciously Patreon supplied set of Kryptonite Customs. So mounted on here now are an older set of baked off the wheel Durtrax Showdown 2.2s on some basic Amazon Chinesium 2.2 beadlocks. And I can tell you right now, of course I had to take the spare off because, the OCD thing, I can't have the nut match. So I will probably be removing that little whatever this dongus is. So we'll get rid of that. Oh, the kid's got his airsoft gun out again. So trying to figure out what I like and what I don't like. I know what I don't like. Let's get one hand in the frame here. So you got the front end. It's got a basic Amazon servo in there, and you can see it looks wildly towed out, right? This is not steering confidence. Like, look at the amount of movement on that linkage right there. It's kind of just a selection of cumulative front end slop. Most of it appears to be coming from the servo saver, as it were. So I think we're gonna kill a little bit of time today, and I think I'm gonna kill some time on Thursday. And what we're gonna do is put the laser nut to the real Kondo test. Does it spark joy? Now, I will say that with the showdowns on here, it's definitely better. Like, I can kind of almost make it where I want to go. Brakes certainly work better. It launches, I would almost go so far as to say predictably. You can get some real pizza cutter action out of it, as they are not belted in any way. Luckily, it was moist enough during the night to keep the dust down a little bit. So we're already at one point of improvement. I don't really have any jumps to take it off of because I built a mountain right next to the big kicker jump. I don't think going off that kicker would be an exceptionally good idea. So what we're gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to dive into this thing, right? I'm thinking that the easiest, most straightforward option will be to just get the servo saver out, epoxy the whole thing together, and switch to an on servo. Like, I think I've got a Kimbrough, the big heavy duty Kimbrough on servo saver. Switch to one of those. I don't think it's an exceptionally good idea out here to go to no saver, as I would probably, well, it's a DS3225 in there. So I wasn't going to commit anything of significant value to it. The 3225 already worlds better than the Spectrum that came out of there. Everything about, I mean, I'm not going to just go straight to condemning. It does spark a little bit of joy. It's kind of fun to whip it around now on the showdowns, and the servo that's really doing its very best to try to keep that sloppy front end together. It has significantly more steering to the left than to the right. It's still on the DX3, this Spectrum radio, which is unremarkable in every way, but I could not bring myself to commit a different radio to this. And I know a lot of people are like 4S, and I have 4S, and perhaps on Thursday we will pipe some 4S through that and see what it is. Also, the diffs need to be taken out and refilled, and with whatever the thickest fluid I've got. Once I found out that, I know I mentioned this in a prior video, that Team Associated, they call it, like, it'll say 5,000 weight, but down at the bottom it says 5,000 CST. 5,000 CST is like 700 weight. So I'm gonna have to find something very thick. I think I have some Traxxas 80,000, 50,000 or 80,000. I will definitely be filling up all the diffs. I will recheck the gear mesh. There's no Spectrum motor in there. The only Spectrum electronics in this are the speed control and the receiver to match the radio. The speed control seems perfectly competent. It's fine. It's a little bit on switchy, off switchy. Like, there's no, that's minimum throttle. You get about a quarter of a pull before anything happens. But a lot of that goes up to uncensored. It's got a Take-On 3674 in it, and it is very predictable and smooth, particularly in that mid-band. So but look with me at the attitude of those front tires. That's just how it stopped. Like, I can't, even on level ground, the friction between the ground and the tires is such that you can't get the wheels to point straight. So this was the shakedown of what is it specifically about this that doesn't spark joy. It's moments like this I wish that there was a second switch on here to turn those lights off, because they're not that bright on camera, but out here they're just right in the eye sockets. So we've got some stuff to do. Let's look at the turn. That's a nice left-hand turning circle, right-hand turning circle, slightly larger. That's about a 10-footer, and it's real concentric. There's a little sprig of a tree coming out, and we're gonna run it over on the next revolution. There's just so much slop in the front end. So, the steering is far more responsive to one side than the other. Look at that. And I got a 5mm wrench in my pocket, do I? Yes, I do. I dialed a bunch of toe in on that side trying to counter it, and I'm trying to think in reverse. The left front is reasonably straight. That right front is just kicked. Like, we got that, we got that. So when it gets any sort of bind at all, the servo saver is just like, yeah, we're done with you. So the goal, the upcoming goal, is to try to bring some joy into this thing. I can't believe that's the first time I flipped that over. Like, it's definitely more stable on the squishy, smooshy showdowns than it was on whatever those things were that it came with. So during the in-between times, and mind you, there will be a great deal of cursing in those in-between times, because working on this thing is not great. It's essentially a full disassembly to get all three diffs out. Like, the whole thing's taken apart. So I'll take that opportunity to clean it up a little bit. I will check how the shocks are reasonably nice. They're like, if they made a 10th scale version of 8 shocks, they're like little 8 lights. They're fine, and the spring rates seem okay. For smashing around in the dirt, everything seems fine. I like the fold. That's some good pizza cutter action. Yeah, showdowns really throw some stuff. So the showdowns have put a little bit of life into it. I don't want the laser nut just to be the rig I drive when it rains. That's pretty much the only time it comes out, so all the fasteners are rusty. Might actually be relatively advisable to put it under the stainless knife and put a bunch of stainless in it. I gotta make this thing fun. Like, I know it's the Losi Laser Nut Rock Racer, just a long wheelbase Tenacity Pro, but everything about it is so floppy. I want some precision in this thing. Sight unseen, I put titanium turnbuckles on it. I mean, that's the type of guy I am. Much better on the Taycan than my memories of driving on the Spectrum. It's mostly the front end and just the real diff outs. So in the next one, we might go, and here's the thing, I would like to go like stiffen up the middle, and then, but like I say, it's a full takedown, so they've all got to get filled at the same time. So that's where this video comes in. To those of you with laser nut experience, are you just locking the middle? Are we silly puttying the middle? Are we going heavier in the front, lighter in the rear? It's pretty oversteer happy. You've got to counter steer quite a lot. So do I want to speed the front end up, or do I want to slow the front end down? I feel like stiff, just guessing, I'm feeling like stiffer, thicker oil for the rear, because then we can kind of wonder if we know how they drift in Tokyo. We can try to keep that step out under control, because the front end does not have enough steering to counter anything. And I know once thicker oils go into this, it's gonna go on spin cycle, and the goal is to try to kind of not do that. So this is the environment that it's gonna live in, and that environment keeps getting smaller. That's why I'm kind of relegated to this shot. It's all crawler stuff. I realize I'm waving over here. It's all crawler stuff over here. So we need a little bit of a spot for people to do this. That's why you don't see an Arma Kraton out here, because you can get to like 1/16 throttle and then you've run out of room and you have to turn around again. This thing's got to undergo the Kondo test. It has to spark joy. Otherwise, you know, what's the point? I'm gonna feel the motor when I get done here and see how that feels. The stock motor on this gearing, which I think I went down 2 teeth from stock, the stock motor on this gearing would hit 160, 165 from just this amount of doing what I'm doing, which is absurd, like absurd. I've got, like if I bring the SC8 out here, I don't want to put this thing side by side up against the SC8. Unless, does anybody want to see this thing side by side up against an SC8 and realize in quick fashion why this thing is kind of depressing? I'll do it. I'm not afraid, I'll do it. So anyone with laser nut experience, what do I do with the diffs? I got to make it better. Like right there, it would have been nice to stay on the other side of the hose, but it was just, as soon as you come off throttle, it pushes like a pig. You have to steer it with throttle unless you turn to the left, in which case I have so much steering that it just flips over. Oh wow. Let me see. In closing, thanks for watching, everybody. In closing, let me see if I can try to reverse straight towards the camera. All right. Watch this front end. Yeah, the front tire, it looks like 2 dolphins swimming side by side. I want it to be better. It can't be worse. A tire swap, a motor swap, a servo swap, it's a little better. But yeah, I can cyclone it this way, but not this way. This way we've got the 12-foot turning circle. Any helpful input appreciated. Thanks for watching this non-crawler content, everybody. Container. I'll see you tomorrow with crawler content. Wheeling Wednesday. We'll see who the wheels choose for us. And in the meantime, I'm gonna basically take this thing completely apart. Yeah. That's what I have to look forward to. And it kind of brings me down. I'm like, ugh. Because Marie Kondo would not approve. So help me, help the laser nut, help Marie. Bring some joy to the laser nut. And until that happens, in the meantime, hopefully we'll see you in that one. And until then, have a good one, everybody.